You just got picked up by the Valkyries. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Oh man, it's been a whirlwind of, the last 72 hours. But it's just definitely something I've been praying about, and being able to have a new opportunity. It's very exciting. And obviously a newer team coming in, being able to mesh together and just kind of all start from the ground zero together. I think that's what I'm most excited about.
You went through your first Olympics and pandemic simultaneously. Just talk to me about what that was like, because I'm sure that wow. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
We couldn't go back to Canada because there was all these lockdowns. So we actually trained in Tampa from the beginning of, our bubble to the end of Olympics for like 5 months at that point. I love my girls, but I don't know if I could be together with people 5 months.
Literally. In those quarters like that. It were great, man. Zaya's crazy. You remember how she wouldn't let people in her car? She was dead serious about it too. She was like, just so y'all know, no people in the back seat. In this big old SUV, we're like,
yeah, man.
Yo, what? We would go to the Doty, and we were in my little 4-door sedan, and like there would be 5 people, like over 6 feet,
huge people,
packed in the back seat. You'd make a turn, and the bottom of my car would like drag on the ground, like that was crazy. Oh my gosh! So we were like trauma bonded from the jump.
Oh yeah.
Proud to be partnering with Underdog Sports, my favorite place to play fantasy games. You gotta check out Pick'em. It's so easy to play. Just pick higher or lower on your favorite or least favorite player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile app. Sound like fun? Sign up with the promo code LIVThompson to claim your free pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 bonus cash. Can't wait to see your entries. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Coop, the show that celebrates the past and present sung and unsung legends of USC athletics. I'm your host, Olivia Thompson, and today I'm joined by another special guest. I know I say that for every episode, but this guest is particularly special to me because this is my college roommate and one of my best friends ever, as well as a 2-time Olympian and national champion, Laeticia Amihere. Welcome, girl.
Thanks for having me. Great intro.
Of course. You deserve it. You deserve your flowers. How are things going in Australia?
Oh, man. It's tough. Whenever people ask me that, I try to avoid the kangaroos, the bugs, and the weather. But other than that, it is going great.
Yeah, I mean, I've been keeping up with your posts on social media. It seems beautiful over there. Like, it just seems absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. So what do you like to do in your free time?
Oh man, my teammates put me into becoming a beach girl, and I never was a beach girl. So just trying to enjoy the beach. I noticed I like parks a lot more. So just been enjoying parks, reading, not doing much, we have so much time off, but just trying to grow as a person and just be outdoors.
Yeah, enjoying the quiet life, it sounds.
It is, yes.
Yeah, South Carolina didn't really have many good parks to provide, so I bet it's nice to be able to enjoy some good quality outdoor time. It looks pretty tropical over there, I can't lie. I'm pretty jealous. Yeah.
And the weather is bomb.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. I'm very happy that you get this experience. How are you enjoying your teammates?
Oh, they're amazing. They're so much fun. Just coming in, I didn't know what to expect. First year overseas, you hear so many different stories, but it truly feels like a family. Like everybody just so super cool, super smart, just being able to like bounce off ideas and like listen to what books people are reading and all these different things. So it's just been great to have such a mature group and just a group that's just so much fun.
Yeah, it does. That does make a really special experience when you have people around you who just build you up like that, and you can learn from, you can pick their brain, and I mean, it seems like the chemistry on the court is there too. You look super comfortable on the court. What did you want to work on your game when you came to Australia?
Everything. I think just opportunity to get back on the floor again. It's been a little while just with how things been going with in the league, but just being able to get some burn in, like get back into the flow of my game, has been like my number one priority. Obviously, other tactical things like shooting and finishing at the rim, but that was my main priority, like just trying to get some burn back in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems very aligned. Your style of play and the overseas play is like very on par with the style of play that you play with naturally. So I bet it's really nice to be able to just be free like that and kind of be able to sharpen areas of your game without compromising too much of your original style.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just been a big moment of growth here,
hmm
and just loving the challenge every day, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know this is a question that a lot of people who watch basketball have, but how does overseas basketball compare to American style basketball?
It's so different. I think it really depends where you are. I've played in multiple different countries and in different leagues, and the Euros are very different. It's a lot more physical.
hmm
Um, they swing the ball a lot. I think Australia is just so many shooters. Like
I
literally
believe that. I believe
everybody
that.
can shoot, and it's
Yeah.
insane. Like I don't know why. I just didn't expect that, and just
hmm
being able to have my teammates like just knowing every single time I kick the ball, like a shot's going up, and
hmm
vice versa. Like on defense, knowing that like you better close out with your
Right.
hands up.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's just been the biggest thing for me, honestly. Just how many shooters there are here.
hmm that is interesting. What's the physicality like in Australia? How does it compare to like Euro basketball?
It's definitely not the same.
Yeah.
I think that just, you know, they're just very perimeter oriented. I
hmm
think just compared to Eurobasket, where it's a lot more, bigs that are just banging. Here,
hmm
there's not a lot of that, which obviously I'm not one of those bigs either.
Right.
So, there's been a few times people are flopping and I've been upset about, but
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
it's just some things that I've just had to learn, and it allows you to just be more tactical around the rim and just try to find other ways to score.
Yeah, well, that'll definitely help. It translates well to what you're going back to in the States. And I mean, speaking of the States, let's talk about the state of the WNBA right now. Oh my
Man,
gosh, what is going on?
crazy.
This is crazy. I mean, it's like every time I check my phone, it's something new. It's just, it's insane.
Yeah, and the worst part is I'm on like a 13-hour time difference.
Right,
So
so
I
you're
actually
getting.
like I go to bed and everybody's sleeping and it's quiet, and then I'll wake up and I'm just like catching up on all this different type of stuff.
No.
Like
Right.
what happened? And it's insane.
Yeah, no, it definitely is insane. And I mean, even the Freshies group chat is still going off. But
Yeah.
we received a little nice text the other day. You just got picked up by the Valkyries. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Oh man, it's been a whirlwind of, the last 72 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's just definitely something I've been praying about, and being able to have a new opportunity. Obviously, I know a lot about what they're brewing in Golden State, and having all the facilities and just really investing in women's basketball. Like when you look at that, you can tell that they're really investing in their team, and just being able to go to an organization that's like that. It's very exciting. And obviously, a newer team coming in, being able to mesh together and just kind of all start from the ground zero together. I think that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, that is super exciting. I mean, being a part of something new and, like you said, building it from the beginning, that's something, well, not necessarily on par with our college experience, but coming in with a class of 5 people, there is some relation between that. So that is cool that you're able to bring that to the next level. And yeah, San Francisco is beautiful too. Have you been?
Yeah, I only remember once when we played Stanford.
Oh, that's
Um,
right. Yeah.
All I remember, it was super windy,
Yeah.
and like it was like raining that day. It was like a blur.
Uh,
That's
it's not
all I
like that
remember.
all the time. It's not like that all
Yeah,
the
that's all I really know about San Francisco. So I'm not even gonna cap like I know.
Well, I went there in October by myself, actually, solo trip. It was the best trip I've ever been on in my life. So
No,
I swear to God,
really.
yeah, it was one of my favorite places I've ever been. I had a great time. Yeah, I
Oh
think you'll
wow,
love it
that's
for real.
encouraging.
I'll have to come visit you. I'll show
Yes.
you around. I'm familiar. I'm
Yeah,
familiar with.
clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to take it back to basketball a little bit, talking about your overseas experience. You've played many places overseas, and you've been doing it for a long time. You've been playing with Team Canada since you were 15 years old. That's like unheard of. That's amazing. But tell me about how you got started in Team Canada.
Yeah, it was honestly kind of an accident. I really had no idea that it was really like a thing.
Hmm.
Um, I started basketball relatively late, and everything kind of transpired within the first 2 years of me starting. And then just being able to play on a national team and being able to travel the world and like just being so young, but being surrounded by wiser people and people that have just been through life. As a
Hmm.
15-year-old can be, it depends what perspective you take it as, but I took it as an opportunity to grow and learn outside of the court, just, learning about things that, I kind of look back at it now and I think about like me being in those same situations today. But yeah, it's a lot for a young kid, but I think that I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, it sounds like when you're with a team that long, it really becomes a family. And I'm sure that they embraced you with open arms. They were all trying to nurture you through that time. So, tell me about some of your earliest memories with them. What was some of your favorite places you've been or experiences with that team at such a young age?
Yeah, I think just starting with the travels, like I said, like the conversations that are
Mhm.
being had, that I probably shouldn't have been listening to as a 15
Right.
year old.
Right.
Them going through different walks of life, and at that time, the first time that I actually went to training camp, one of my teammates just got married,
Wow.
and it was just like at that time, I don't even think I had my first relationship. Like
Right.
it's
Right.
like so interesting to see the types of walks of life and also hearing about overseas life and just being acclimated to that. A lot of people even today struggle playing overseas, but I've done it for so long that I've grown accustomed to being alone and being away and just being able to embrace different cultures. So that's definitely been, a blessing for me. And then just a place that I will never forget. Obviously, I've always wanted to go to Tokyo. I've always wanted to go to Japan, Kyoto.
Mhm.
I think in the earlier stages, Italy was definitely like a great spot for me to go to.
Mhm.
And that trip, we started in France and drove over a couple countries. So being able to just see so much of the world at a young age, like those are things that you don't take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely not. The Some of the guests that I've had on here who have played overseas basketball, they don't have this sort of optimism when they talk about the traveling aspect of it and experiencing different places. So it's great that you have such an open mind about it and that you actually
Yeah.
like enjoy immersing yourself in the culture of these places that you're going to. I want to talk a little bit about Japan and just your Olympic experience in general, because you're a two-time Olympian before you even turned 24. Like what just hearing that, like what does that mean to you?
Oh man, I think just it brings a sense of optimism. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I've done so much, but like I still have so much more to go.
Mhm.
So many more Olympic experiences to experience, and I think obviously every Olympic is different. Just reminding myself from the first one where it's like, man, COVID and just fresh off probably playing the national team for a couple years by that time, and
Mhm.
um, to now, having more experience under my belt, and then to the next Olympics having even more experience at that time. So just kind of reminding myself of all the growth that's going on during those times. And yeah, I think I just think of optimism and just being able to.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay.
And talking about that Tokyo Olympics, you went through your first Olympics and pandemic simultaneously. Just talk to me about what that was like, because I'm sure that just, oh, wow. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. At that time, you know, we couldn't go back to Canada because there was all these lockdowns. So we actually trained in Tampa, and we were together from the beginning of our bubble to the end of Olympics for like 5 months at that point. Like
It's
literally just
crazy.
five
That's
months
insane.
of being together, and I love my girls, but I don't know if I could be together with people
Yeah,
5 months
literally.
that
In those
long.
close quarters like that.
And it was tough. It was tough because, we were getting swabs under our nose every day, and there was just so many crazy precautions that I felt like was so unnecessary, but at the end of the day,
Hmm.
very necessary for the severity of what was going on.
Hmm.
And then you go to your first Olympics, hearing all these things about how amazing the Olympics are, and then you're playing in front of zero fans and fake noise as
They
you
had fake
cheer.
noise going on.
Yeah, we had fake noise.
Oh,
It was
man.
just like it was just so fake. But at the
Right.
same time, like it was hard to kind of switch the mentality that I was actually at the Olympics,
Hmm.
just because of the environment. But when I look back at it after, I'm like, man, like that was an amazing Olympics.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Yeah. You're gonna have to remind me of the time frame of this, because was this before or after we went to San Antonio and went through that whole thing with the swabs up the nose and all that mess?
Oh, I think it would have been
Because
before.
yeah,
Or was
but
it after? Because it was the Olympics. Is that
but
it was
like 2020, but they had to like postpone it a little bit. I don't even remember. I don't remember
I
anything.
don't remember, but
That whole time period was like a fever dream.
a blur. Like
Yeah,
I just remember San Antonio being just like, oh my gosh, the
yeah,
N95 masks. I wish
with the
I would never
shields,
see that again.
with the face shield. No, that was crazy. I think all of us were like so delirious. We were just like, you remember when we would be like in the room playing Uno and stuff, and people were just like making random ass noise. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little comfortable on here, y'all. We would just no, but like we were just in hotel rooms playing Uno, watching basketball games, making incoherent noises at the TV and each other. Like we were literally reverting back to like barbarian Neanderthal state. It
Man,
was great. It was crazy. We were not well at
I
all.
had my pillows ready to smack Anaya in the head. It was just,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
spent a lot of time together for
Way,
sure.
way too much. Way too much. Oh my gosh. And
It was
then we get to the final four and we freaking lose. And they wouldn't even let us see our parents afterwards. I remember your mom came all the way from Canada and they wouldn't even like let you hug her. Like,
it
huh?
was ridiculous. Like so much emotion, so much expectation, and then to lose and then not even be able to just see my family. And then you go straight
Crazy.
to your room and it's like you're quarantined, and it's just like you don't even really have time to just cry with your friends or your
Right.
family or your loved
Right.
ones.
Right. Because then we had to go back to the room, pack our stuff up, and then leave like the next
Yep.
day. Like, oh my gosh. Like, crazy. But then we came back and they had that parade for us. You know, they still wanted to celebrate us despite the loss. And it's like, thank you guys. But it was just
Yeah, and that
wow.
gave us so much more motivation because it's like,
Hmm.
man, these Gamecock fans are gonna come out even when we lose. Like, imagine how it is gonna be like when we win, and it definitely was
Man,
crazy when we won.
man,
So
yeah, yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. I want to talk about that, but I want to take it back to your beginning playing basketball, because like you said, you had a late start. How old were you when you started playing basketball? And what were you doing before basketball was introduced?
yeah, I just was an active kid. I did a little bit of everything. Predominantly, I played soccer just with my two parents being from West Africa. I love soccer,
Mhm.
but obviously, I was just so freakishly tall that
Right.
it didn't make sense for me not to play basketball. My brothers played basketball at the time, but it wasn't until I would say, the end of 6th grade where I started, like, I actually was on a team.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, like I said, like, it was really within 2 years that, like, everything transpired. Like, playing our state team to national team, and all that within the next couple of years after that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So when you were introduced, were you and Benson kind of like, what were y'all's heights at? Were you taller than him at this point, or was he still like playing bully ball with you?
Nah, I don't think, man. I hate to say it, like, I can count maybe on one hand how many times I beat Benson. Like, and it's just tough. Like, as a young kid, like, they're just bullies. Like, they're just mean.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was never allowed to play with the boys. I was the water girl. Like, I would always run home and get people water or snacks and then run back to the court. But just watching them compete, like, I just knew that that's something I want to do.
hmm,
Just to see their passion and how much they love the game, like, it just made me love the game. So I just
yeah.
remember those times. Obviously I wasn't able to play a lot, but just being able to watch them just gave me so much motivation.
Absolutely, yeah. And how you're gonna have to remind me how old you actually were when you started playing.
How old are you in 6th grade? I think I would have been like
13?
12,
Oh,
13.
yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That is super late. That is a very late
Yeah.
start. And because of that late start, was there a coach at your school who took you under their wing and kind of helped mold you into not necessarily the player you are now, but kind of helped advance your skill sets since you had such a late start?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I play like house league. Do you guys have house league? It's just like you play
Mm-mm.
on every Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like we have house league and you played every Sunday, and I would like couldn't wait till Sunday came.
Hmm.
And the first time they matched me up with my age, like they were like, yeah, no, like there's no way. So I played up,
That's
and
awesome.
when I played up, I met this coach called Kenny, and at that time we couldn't afford anything other than just playing every Sunday, and he, took me under his wing and waived the fees, and I was able to play for his team. And he used to make us do these crazy workouts, man. Like, but it was always like, oh, like you could only get to these workouts if you're like the next thing, or like if you're really good. So like I would always pride myself in
Right.
like it sucked. Like I literally hated
Exclusive.
it, but
Uh-huh.
like I was exclusive. Like not a lot of people are doing this,
Right,
right?
literally.
So I would just try to tell myself that, and yeah, just going through those workouts definitely made me learn a lot of grit and perseverance, which obviously has been my story even till this day.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember you telling me that when you were getting into basketball, and like it became serious for you, you had to make trips to Scarborough and Toronto for training. And how far out of the way was that for you? And this was a daily thing too. Just tell me about that experience and what that journey meant to you and your basketball journey.
Yeah, so people don't know I live in Mississauga at the time, and Toronto and Scarborough, like you're never gonna get there under an hour and a half, like just with traffic, and it's the busiest. Like everybody wants to get to Toronto, everybody wants to get to
Hmm.
Scarborough, and you know even and I'm like my family's driving me there like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours to get there, and my session is only 1 hour.
Wow.
So it's like one time, me and my aunt, she would come at 2:30 as soon as school was ended, and she would have snacks in the car ready for me, and we would drive there. And one time we got stuck so long in traffic that we literally missed the session and still couldn't turn around. Like we were literally in traffic for like
Man,
literally 5 hours. Um,
that's crazy.
yeah, man, that was dedication that not
Yeah.
even me, but my family just did for me, just for me to be able to be where I'm at today.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm sure just like being where you are now, those moments just mean the world to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is insane. I can't imagine a hour and a half trip turning into 5. That is just, oh my gosh. How
Telling
many
you.
times do you think that happened?
Yeah, so like rush hour is around 4 o'clock, and
Mm,
our training is at 4 o'clock. So like we
yeah,
would leave
nah,
at
it's
two
reps.
thirty to
Right.
get there at 4, and like it was just not the best. Like
Yeah.
it just
No, yeah.
it was very fun. The commute was suck, and like a lot of times those workouts were just absolute. I'm not even gonna use the word, but it was hard. So it's like
Yeah.
you're mentally
Yeah.
preparing yourself 2 hours in the car, like to just be able to go out there and grind your butt off.
Right. And how old were you when these workouts were occurring?
I did it all throughout. Well, yeah, I did it in middle school,
Oh, okay.
and then up until probably like my freshman year of high school.
I got you. I got you. So that's a long time period of making these trips like that. That is some real dedication from not only you, but especially your family around you who's putting in that time to take time out of their day and get you to these sessions because they see something in you. So that's really special. And it definitely paid off because look at you now. But I want to talk more about your journey. When was it that you really started to notice that you were better than your peers?
Honestly, pretty early, just because of my height, and
Hmm.
I noticed that like I didn't fit the mold pretty early.
Hmm.
Just in terms of I was a post player, bringing up the ball, and defending and doing all these things. So I think pretty early on I was able to um, notice that I had some talents. But at that time I didn't know anything about WNBA. I didn't even know it existed. I didn't really know about college. Like I
Wow.
knew about college basketball. Like my coach would tell me about it, but I
Mhm.
didn't know anything about the recruiting process. Up until high school, like doing the national team stuff that I would hear from these colleges, and yeah, I started doing my research, and then saw that there was really a lane for this.
That's incredible. That I mean, you don't hear about that really. Like just being like an American, like everybody knows about basketball and just sports in general from a very young age. So like you
Yeah.
being cut off from that sector of college basketball and professional basketball, yet still achieving as much as you did. That's really cool because you just had Team Canada, right? That was really like the lane that you had at that time, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So when would you say that college started to recruit you? When did you see letters coming in and people showing up at your courts and stuff? Because you guys still had AAU, right?
Yeah, we had our AAU team was like our state team, and
Hmm.
we would only go like we would literally go to one or two tournaments a year.
Hmm.
We went to Chicago and the Nike Summit, and then one year we went to Boo Williams. And I think pretty early on I started getting recruited, but then again I still had no idea what these colleges were or who these people were. So whenever I got a letter from anybody, it could be any college, like I was excited just because I
Yeah.
had no idea the echelon of things.
Hmm.
Um, and then I would hear talks from other people that, oh, that's Don Staley, or oh, that's Gino, and I'm like, oh, like I didn't really know the severity of it until
Hmm.
honestly until I went to South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's really crazy. But I mean, it's also pretty beneficial for you at the same time to like not have these biases going
Yeah.
into your college experience. You're just kind of going where it feels best and where it looks best. So I mean, that's a good thing to have that you don't have any really preconceived notions about these college teams that are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good or bad thing, but definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be. Hmm. And you've had some bumps in your journey along the way. You tore both of your ACLs while you were in high school. Just talk to me about what that's like from your perspective as a young person wanting to achieve lots of great things in your sport.
Yeah, it was definitely very tough. The first time I did it, again, I had no idea even what an ACL was at that time either. So like
Mhm.
when they're telling me that happened, I'm like, okay, like when am I gonna play basketball? Like,
Right.
am I good?
Mhm.
And some people don't really know much about ACL, but sometimes like you can do it and still be fine. Like you can still walk the same day and all that. So it took a lot for me to recover through that.
Mhm.
And obviously I still am, but like I was a very lanky kid, didn't have that much muscle mass. So to be able to just really go into the weight room and like start putting on muscle, start doing all these exercises. Obviously, it benefit me till this day, but it was a grind. And then to not only finally get over that hump and then do it again, like within the next few months, like just total devastation mentally. I think a lot of things were going through my mind by that time. The second time I did it, I was already committed to South Carolina, and I just felt like I was just like such a big disappointment. Like I just felt like I disappointed them, and which obviously it ended up being a blessing in disguise because I was able to go early. But I just felt a lot of shame at that time, even though it's not like my fault. But still, like I just felt like, dang, like I just committed there, and now they're gonna not want me anymore, which was actually opposite of the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, South Carolina certainly did want you because your mom had some apprehensions about you potentially going to school in the South. And just talk to me about how they tailored your visit to ease her worries and make you feel welcome and home.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna go to that visit. Honestly,
Wow, really?
my mom just didn't, had all these notions about what the South was like. And I don't know, I just had a gut feeling that I really want to go there. I begged her, and we end up, visiting. And it was even before I said I want to go there. My mom's like, you need to come here. Like, she
Wow.
absolutely loved, like, the visit was amazing. They brought in, African cuisine from South Carolina, people that worked in South Carolina, and till this day, very close family. We treat them like family to this day. Just from that visit, which was like 6 years ago at this point.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember
And
them making T-shirts and coming to the games.
yeah, like
That's so
just
sweet.
so much community, like South
Hmm.
Carolina. What a blessing. But yeah, they just made sure that a lot of the things that were important to, an African mother, education, all these different type of things, were at the forefront of my visit. And, thank God for that, because my mom loved it and I loved it, and, the rest is history.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you committed to South Carolina before you tore your ACL again or your second
Yeah.
ACL? I gotcha. So when that happened, it things started to kind of spiral a little bit because you're in your last year of high school and you tear it, and then you decide to just leave school and come down to South Carolina to get your surgery and start your rehab here. What was that like for you? I mean, that just sounds like a tumultuous time for such a young person. So just talk to me about what was going on in your head and your life at that time.
Yeah, just a roller coaster of emotions. You know, I talk about this, but we were actually the first people on the women's side to enroll early. And at the time, it was actually football players that were doing it. And, once Coach Staley kind of found out about, I forgot how it came about, but when she, started making calls and it's like, hey, like, is this a possibility? Like, can we do this? Calls to compliance and just so much work in the background to be able to see if this could happen. And once they had the okay, it was like, okay, great, you can come early. And I'm like, well, I still have half of my semester of high school left. So
Right.
now I'm going online and finding classes that I could take. Thank God, I took the time early and I, was fast tracked. But going online and searching up classes that I can do for me to finish high school quickly, and then not even being able to say bye to my friends, like literally leaving because I was just like in my books, like trying to get these classes done.
Right.
And just leaving and then going to the States and to live for the first time in my life. A lot. It was definitely a roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, amongst all that, you're joining a team that's it's got some issues. I mean, for lack of better words, I mean, you're not walking into like a perfect situation. You're brand new. I mean, you're still super young. And you're trying to work through this injury. You're working on rehab and you have an upcoming surgery. Just tell me what that was like. I mean, that can be a lot as well.
Yeah, I would say, I would say the word that comes to mind is culture shock. I think just coming in, like, I already had a lot going on just with coming in early and all that.
Right.
And I was just like,
No, what is this?
yeah, it was just, you're coming in mid-season. They already have a lot of things that they're working on and trying to make it to the tournament, all these different type of things. And yeah, it's just, there's just a lot going on. And, I stuck really close to Molly during these times. I stuck very close to Xavier, which is the academic advisor at that time. Just to lean on them because I'm just like far away from my family. I have no idea what's going on. I'm coming in the middle of, a kerfuffle that's already been placed. And
right.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that you couldn't even understand what Kiki was saying sometimes.
I can understand not a lick of their English, not a lick of their slang. I was just so confused. Like I was just thrown in the fire. That's really what it was.
Yeah. But I mean, during this time too, I remember you telling me that you had Coach Staley in your ear telling you it's not going to be like this for much longer. Like, just stick with me. So what does that mean to you to have her kind of pouring that confidence and that optimism into you, and you just that trust that it takes to just like be like, okay, like I accept it. I'll listen to you. I'll believe you. Just tell me about kind of that aspect of it.
Yeah. I think, we all know Boyer as well, how she is. And just being able to hear from her as well and Coach Staley just on how they want to shape, the freshies coming in and the culture that they want to bring in, and just being able to kind of sit and listen. I mean, at that point, it's kind of too late. I'm already there.
Right.
I just felt like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just blind faith, just being able to understand that the things that she has in place. And, I've always known her from just seeing and researching within the next 2 years before I committed. But just as a person that has so much, she's very detail oriented, but she also doesn't take any BS. And just knowing that from her, I knew that like with the people coming in that we're going to have something special.
Definitely. I mean, trusting the process can be difficult sometimes because you're hearing this, but then simultaneously after that 2018-2019 season, transfer after transfer, people are leaving, the media is talking, fans are talking, like you're hearing all this buzz. And then you got 5, or I guess at this point it was 4 people joining the team. And like you said, that blind faith. But how was that blind faith turned into a reality once we got here? Was it like kind of like instant knowing when we were all on campus that you felt like it was going to be a much better situation?
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, just when I met you, like I already knew because, I wasn't super close with the old team just because like I was shy, I was new, and they already had things established.
Right.
But yeah, just meeting you, like I remember we went to American Deli or US Deli.
Oh my gosh, I miss that place.
Best wings of my life. And yeah, like we vibe. I think we clicked so quickly.
Yeah,
like,
we did.
So I just felt already comfortable with you, and then like meeting the rest of the people. I would say it took a little bit, like maybe like the first week or 2 for us to like all like, I know Zaya was like super homesick, and like a lot of other people were just like trying to figure out and like adjust. So after that, like we were just like, I feel like we just had so much in common and just so many different personalities, but it ended up working somehow.
Yeah, it worked great. Man. Zaya's crazy. You remember how she wouldn't let people in her car? Oh my gosh. And we clowned her from the jump. She was dead serious about it too. She was like, just so y'all know, no people in the back seat. In this big old SUV, we're like,
yeah, man.
Girl, what? So then we would go to the Doty, and we were in my little 4-door sedan, and like there would be 5 people, like over 6 feet,
huge people
packed in the back seat. You'd make a turn, and the bottom of my car would like drag on the ground, like. That
Oh
was
my
crazy.
God.
Oh my gosh. So we were like trauma bonded from the jump.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But we had some good memories, man. You know, I haven't been back to US Deli since like college. I don't know what's up with that.
What?
I know. I got to get it together. I'm probably going to go today now that we're talking about it. No, but it really was an instant connection between all of us. And I think all of us felt that too. And we just kind of knew from that moment that this was a special group. And I had never really felt that sense of connection or community with a team before. So that felt really good for me. And I know it felt good for you after coming off that first little half year you were here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, I mean, transitioning into that first season when you're back playing, tell me what that was like for you, because I mean, this was like a fresh start to basketball, really coming off your second injury, but you're also at a totally different level of play. Just talk to me about what that was like for you.
Yeah, I remember, I had a big old brace on my knee,
Hmm.
super restricting. The first time I tore my ACL, I didn't have a brace, so like I didn't know that I was going to be
Really?
wearing a brace. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Um, and so, yeah, it was just very interesting. And after my surgery, I lost a ton of weight, just not being able to eat.
Mhm.
And then also, like, just getting acclimated to the food in the US. Like, for me in the beginning, like, it was super hard
Yeah.
to acclimate, to the Dodie food.
Sorry, Dodie, but
It was hard. It was hard in the beginning, but then I obviously started loving the Dodie food. But in the
hmm.
beginning, it was super hard. I remember I just couldn't get like my hands like Zaya. I couldn't really understand how she played. I never
Hmm.
played like the American style of play is so different. Like Canadian style of play doesn't have much finesse. And the
Hmm.
US has a lot of finesse. So like
Yeah.
Zai would come off and like she would throw these like crazy passes and I would never be able to catch them. And Ty would, she didn't do all these crazy passes, but she knew like you were open before you knew you were open.
Hmm.
And I remember one time she made me a pass and I missed it and she was like, noted. Like she literally said like noted. And I was like, oh, I'm never gonna
What
get
does that
past
mean?
it.
Right?
But yeah, my
Dang.
whole first year, Boyer just would chuck
Held
footballs at
tennis
me.
balls. Oh my gosh.
Well, she would every practice before she would literally like, and these balls were not deflated, like they were hard
No,
balls.
these were like from the facility, fresh out the freaking pump. Like,
Chucking these
just,
balls at me, and I'm just like, ah,
she had you up against the wall. Just like
yes, you
she had a
remember
practice
that?
player. She had a practice player just like feeding her footballs, and she's just chucking
You
them back.
remember that,
Yes,
bro?
yes, I remember
Literally,
that. It would be tennis balls and it'd be footballs. And she was like,
yes,
"You're gonna catch a ball. If you could catch six, you can catch a
yes.
basketball." I'm just like,
It
"Oh
was
my god."
crazy.
Nah, that was, and she did that. She did that for so long too. That was like every practice type of deal. Like,
Yep. Every
wow,
practice, working on them hands.
it's crazy. She's so crazy. Hey, but it worked though.
It
And then,
did. It
and I mean,
did.
over time, you just understand people's style of play. You kind of you
Yes.
expect things from them. So I mean, that
Exactly.
aspect definitely helps too. But so does getting footballs pelted at your face every
Right.
single day.
Right. You gonna learn.
That's so funny. That's so funny to me. I wrote down a quote from Coach Staley, and she said she has never coached anybody that comes with that much determination when she talks about your style of play. Because, like you said earlier, you're used to being a post player who brings the ball up the floor from a very young age, and I mean that translated instantly into your college style of play. It didn't seem like your style wavered at all. What does it mean to hear like that sort of a compliment from your head coach?
Man, it's funny because you hear a lot of these compliments like from news and stuff like that. Like Coach Staley is very even keeled. Like
Hmm.
to me, like I feel like I didn't hear like the craziest compliments. Like you would hear compliments like, but it would be like with a straight face. Like I
Right.
just feel like
Exactly.
so when
Exactly.
I would read these things, I'm like, dang, like she really rocking with me. Like, but
Yeah.
yeah, we did have like talks in our offices, like, and she would speak life into me, and just always make sure that I was okay. But my determination was definitely something that I was always gonna have, regardless of the situation.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, and just being able to hear those words from, the likeness of Coach Staley, it always just gives you more motivation.
Yeah, definitely. Because your role with the team initially was a bit different than others. I mean, we had 3 freshmen in our class who became starters, but you were given more of a bang off the bench sort of role. How did you embrace that? Because I mean, I feel like you thrived in that role, and you definitely were that bang off the bench that we needed. But it's also not easy to be able to adjust to that, and kind of your peers and the people that you see at your level are starting, and then you're taking this other role. So just talk to me about what that was like for you, kind of stepping into that, and like we talked about before, leaning on that trust in the coaches.
Yeah, it's funny because going in, I had zero expectations.
Hmm.
Like I was going to college, and I was like, let's see how this goes. Like I didn't even know about like All Americans or all these different type of accolades that are going on, but um, I never even thought twice about coming off the bench or doing anything else. Like I just knew that whenever I was gonna go in, I was gonna put in my all, and just being able to, you know, help my teammates out. Like this was coming in, like obviously the year before didn't have the best year, but coming in like there we were expected to be a top team coming in early. So
Hmm.
just looking around the talent that we already had, like I knew I was gonna be fighting, and that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, you absolutely did. What were some games that stand out to you during your time? I remember there was a game where she made you point guard for the game, and you went crazy. I don't remember how many assists you have, but you went crazy that game. Are there any like moments or games like that stand out to you in particular where you just felt in your element, and you just felt like you felt that energy? You know what I mean? When you're in a zone like that, people are feeding into you, you're feeding off the crowd. Like, were there moments like that? Was there a specific moment for like that that sticks out to you?
Yeah, probably that game because like she told me I was gonna be the point guard like the day before. She's
Right.
like, and then, like Coach Shay, like we'll be at practice, and like we'll have like different groups, and like
Hmm.
I was always part of the second group, and like we would do like 5-0, and she'd be like, okay, LA, like you're the point guard, and I'm like, what?
What?
Like we never talked about it.
Right.
It was never even like a situation where like that would even click in my head, and I was like, what are you
Right.
talking about?
Yeah.
Um,
She'll just
so I
drop it so
guess
slick. Yeah.
yeah, like, and it was just like, okay, like, and then we're going, and then man, that was so much fun. Like we
Yeah.
would get the rebound, and we would just go, like we were
Hmm.
just out. And I think that game was just so much fun to me because like I knew where everybody was, and I knew the plays just from the post position, and I knew exactly as a post player where I want the ball. So being able to just flip that into playing to a guard was pretty easy for me. And yeah, I just had so much fun doing it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean that having like I think it's so funny how she'll just do that. She'll just slickly drop like just switch up something mid practice, or we'll be in film and she'll be like, "Oh, and blah 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 blah," and we're just like,
Yeah, we're
okay,
like,
like you don't really, and I think that's a good thing too, because like you don't really have a whole lot of time to think about it. You just have to
yeah,
go. And I mean, when you just rely on your instincts and you just go instead of putting all this thought into it, that's when things actually start to like come together and have and mesh well. So
exactly.
it can be jarring at first, but I like that about her, that
Yeah,
she understands that thinking less will do more for your game. Um,
exactly.
yeah, but nah, we had a lot of fun memories during our time at South Carolina, and I mean, we had 2 difficult seasons, our freshman year and sophomore year. Those were quite rough, but then we get to that junior season, and I mean, it looks great from the jump. Like because at this point we're ready to go. Like we had
Yeah.
come off 2 rough seasons. We're like, all right, like it's our time now. And man, that year was just so much fun. What sticks out to you about that year besides the obvious?
Man, I think just the change of mentality from like your first year going into, because our second year was really the first time we went to the NCAA tournament, right?
Right. Hmm.
So really like going from your first time to your second time, the mentality shift. I remember the first time we were all pretty young and never really been there. And we were like, dang, this is long. Like, this is hard. Like,
Yeah.
we would think that you're just cruising through teams and then you just get to the national championship. Like, no, these underdog teams are ready to fight.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, it was just so long, and we were just like, man, like, when is this over? And so the mentality shift to the junior year, we're like, okay, like, we're just getting started. Like, you know, when you get to postseason, like, your season really just starts.
Right. Literally, yeah.
Before, like, our season is, like, basically almost done. It's like, no, you can't come in with that mentality, because those are probably the longest few weeks of your, like, the whole season. So I think the mentality shift that we had, like, was pretty evident, and I think that was really my favorite part.
Yeah, definitely. It was amazing to see just our growth, even like you said, during postseason, where we all just kind of had that shift, like, all right, it's time now. Like, we're here, you know, like we had some setbacks in these past 2 years, but like, it's our time now. And we had Henny and V, and like, we wanted this for them, and we wanted it for all the people that were on those teams then that didn't get it. So we had a lot riding on that season. So it was amazing that we were able to make it happen. And I mean, your celebration after we won is still one of my favorite things ever. That girl just took off. Where was she going? Where was she going? Does she even know?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I literally was zoned out. Like,
that was insane, man. I mean, just watching the clock click down like that, like, what? Oh my gosh. That was one of the best memories of my life. And I mean, people ask about what it feels like. Can't even describe it. I mean, it's just like pure euphoria, especially after like what we had been through and how long our seasons are. Just having a finale like that, there's no words to describe it.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah. And then the celebration afterwards was quite nice.
Oh, yeah. We had a time. That was just amazing. Like, just thinking of the year before, like, we would all just go to our room, and then the next day we were just flying back to Columbia, and then we're like, dang, like, we're going to see these people, and it should be so awkward.
Right.
To, like, can't wait to get home. Like,
literally
crazy. Like, just
the hotel in Minnesota, like, what? That was crazy.
It was snowing, and people were still outside, like, crazy. Like, man.
It was incredible. Amazing. Yeah. Well, yeah. Those some of the best memories of my life, man. I'm so glad that we were able to share these experiences and just still maintain these relationships. I think being a part of that team was extremely rare, and it was very special. And I mean, I think about it often, how grateful I am to be a part of that and be able to still maintain these relationships with you and the rest of the people on that team and in our class. It's rare. It's special. I'm very happy. Yeah. Well, I think that kind of concludes our episode today. I wanted to leave it on a high note. We kind of all know how our senior year went. But we're gonna end it on good vibes today. I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you're still in my life. I want to come visit you in San Francisco. Yes.
Let's do it.
I'm very happy for you and proud of you. And I hope to see you soon. And this has been another episode of The Coop. So thank you, Laeticia, for being on today.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was fun. All right. Bye, girl.